also found it a bit baffling that Adam Doueihi stormed out when he doesn't even have the star power. He had 7 good games this season. The man is a walking injury.
So coaches that create these problems with, Galvin and then probably Luai and definitely Adam, basically Benji orchestrated, rightfully, wrongfully, accidentally, or otherwise, it doesn't really matter, their lowest point of the season and described by many as rock bottom for the organization in recent history.
But I know a lot of Tigers fans were just like, God, here we go. Yeah, go put up the Tigers in the media and just hammer and batter them, make up stories about the vaping, make up that he's going to leave his contract, make up all this kind of stuff. You guys are just rumor mongers, and that there wouldn't be as much stress and turmoil and tumult at the West Tigers if the media didn't exist. I just don't think that's true. There's been too many players who have agitated to leave. There's been too many blow-ups. There's been too much underperformance. The reason why the media hammers the West Tigers is because they've earned it. They've earned it through incompetence, through underperformance, through failed seasons, through lost players, through tumultuous dramas, through losing excellent coaches. It's the West Tigers' fault that they're in this position. Well, welcome back, folks, to another episode of Rugby League Forever's podcast, brought to you by Bet365 Injury Protection. If your player goes down injured before halftime, the odds of your multi or same-game multi are recalculated, keeping your bet alive. We have so much to talk about on today's episode. This is going to be Tigers dominant. We're going to analyze it and dissect it from every angle. The Doueihi angle, the Marshall angle, the Moses angle. There's a lot going on in the world of rugby league. We're also going to dive into some retirement chats that have been pertinent to DCE and Ben Hunt. Some real big conversations about the Bulldogs and the Raiders. Can they make the finals? We're just going to completely miss Manly this week. I don't want to talk about it. Al, how are you, mate?
I'm very good. I feel like we've been spoiled for choice this week with content. It's just been probably one of the more action-packed weeks in ages. Like, it just felt like every day there was something new. And now we're sitting here and I'm kind of I'm overwhelmed.
Yeah, you're overstimulated.
I'm overstimulated with talking points. There's some stuff that's
now you know what an ADHD brain feels like.
Yes. Yeah. There's some stuff that's been happening this morning as well. There's updates to a lot of these stories.
Yes.
So we can get into that too, but let's just start with a chronological order. Let's just begin, firstly, with the presser, Tigers CEO presser. He fronted the media on Monday.
Yep.
He addressed the crisis head on, but was a little bit vague, very brief, and called it a positive meeting, and then everything that's flowed on, from that seems to have resulted in a ton of humility from Adam Doueihi. He's come. Yep. I don't know if it's hat in hand, because I actually just think he ended up being the bigger person in this whole situation at the end of the day.
We'll get into that.
But let's talk about it firstly. What was your initial reaction to everything that happened, and then the initial response, and then Adam this morning?
Yeah. Okay. So we won't go through the whole history because I bet a lot of people are up to date with it.
Yeah.
But we did see an unprecedented move where a player declines to play and won't join the squad for that weekend based on either the positional change or problems in the cultural standards at the club. Either way, it's unprecedented. I disagree that Benji dropping or moving Adam Doueihi to lock. I think that was the wrong call. But coaches make stupid calls like that 30 times a season when it comes to positions. What's unprecedented is a player then going, I'm out of here. I can't handle this. I'm not in the right headspace. I hate what's happening at this club. I'm not playing this weekend. Remove me from the team sheet. That, as far as I know, has never happened. And the reason that it's never happened is because it's unprofessional. So I had to take that it was a tantrum. He was throwing the toys out of the cot. He had a dummy spit. And then I copped some blowback for that, saying I didn't know the whole story. But there's always stories going on at clubs and always dramas going on at clubs. And the players don't remove themselves from the team. They don't remove themselves from the team list that week in response to what the coach is doing. That's what Adam Doueihi did. And I think it was unprofessional and immature. And that's been the dominant storyline throughout the weekend. Except it hasn't been, because there's been an abundance of rumors, innuendos, whispers, and gossip that's been leaked to the media all weekend. It's like, where do you start on which one? Like Paul Kent talking about vaping in training. Adam Doueihi's only going to play to the end of the season. That's all he's committed to. There was so much that went on there. So then it ends up, it crescendos or climaxes, sorry for using that word, in the meeting on Monday with Sean Millercamp, Benji Marshall, Isaac Moses, and I think Pat Richards,
Yep, Pat
the
Richards.
football GM.
Yes.
And Millercamp comes out to explain to the press what's going on. And it was like a 41-second press conference. He says it was positive, it was good, there's been a resolution, and that's it. We're not going to say anything more about it. I thought that was naive from Millercamp. I thought the fans deserved more transparency. I thought that he was perhaps not understanding how tumultuous this club has been in its history, and that fans deserve more from their leadership than just, we're not going to talk about it anymore. Most importantly, I think it was naive because this is a club leakier than any leaky ship with any holes in it in the entire universe. So you knew shit was going to come out.
Yeah.
So why not get ahead of it? I just thought that was crazy. You could have got ahead of so much. Perhaps now that things have happened on is it Wednesday today of recording, there's been a press conference and the players and the coach were able to address that.
Yep.
Maybe he was letting them deal with it, but it means he's let 48 hours of news cycle happen. And I think that just led to more stress and angst than was necessary.
Yeah, I think it was this whole thing has been a huge misstep from start to finish. And what irks me the most, and I've been trying to really, impress this upon Tigers fans, because when he's looking at me, your eyes just shoot up.
Drew in the booth is a Tigers fan.
Oh,
He's not going to like what Alex is about to say.
look, I acknowledge, on face value, what Adam did was the wrong thing. He walked out on his teammates.
Okay.
Spat the dummy over a position change. Fine. But it does sort of seem to miss the core or key component of the story, which is that there were bigger underlying problems. There were reportedly double standards. There was reportedly preferential treatment. It was a straw that broke the camel's back. So it wasn't the entire story. That's probably why a lot of you figured that out. A lot of people came out and hammered you for it. But for me, my initial reaction seeing it was it just signaled to me it was disrespect. That's what it signaled to me on Benji's side towards Adam,
Okay.
who I believe is probably the best player on the team. Definitely one of the most important, him and Twile, who were reportedly both pissed off by circumstances and going-ons. I think that then what I saw was they came out, Benji saying, we're just going to focus on what's happening on the field, and he was really short with Jake Duke, and it's just I get so over that shtick, by the way. Just this like holier than thou attitude when your club's in shambles and you're not really delivering any results. You're not a premiership winning coach. You're not an Ivan Cleary. You're not someone that has produced the results and earned the right to be sitting there disgruntled and sulking or short or brief, or it's none of that. It was like this, we're just going to play for each other, and it was almost passive aggressive in nature. Then to hear that, watch the players who were all supposed to be playing for each other put on one of the most abysmal performances of the season, bar maybe one or two. It's embarrassing. Like it's
totally
shameful.
embarrassing. I just think you're projecting so much onto Benji. It would be the same error that some people said of me, that I've projected and been too presumptive of what Adam Doueihi did. I don't see arrogance. I don't see gloating. I don't see this ego-centric leader. I understand that he's terse and dismissive when he doesn't want to talk about it. He's not the only coach that is terse and dismissive when he doesn't want to talk about something. To his credit, he does always end up talking about it. He just doesn't want to talk about it pre-game. He wants to do a post-game thing, or he wants to do it midweek. I don't see any problem with that. I don't think it's an issue that Benji Marshall decides when he wants to release information to the media, because he does follow through. Some people do think that Benji Marshall's got this ego, and you're suggesting that like he's too big for his boots, essentially. Where has he said that? I've seen him dismiss Benji Wall. I've seen that he hated the idea that Benji Ball was being talked about. He liked when they lost at the beginning of the season because it got rid of all the hype around them and they could go back to focusing on footy. I think Benji is a inexperienced coach who's learning, but I don't think he gives off the vibe that he knows best or he thinks he's this. I'm going to say it again, 3 weeks in a row, cock of the walk. And also on that, I also don't think, and maybe this is the scandalous take, I don't think Adam Doueihi is their best player. I think he might be their fourth best. I think I would put Api Coruscant, Alex Twal, Terrell May ahead of Adam Doueihi.
Okay.
So I just don't think. I also found it a bit baffling that Adam Doueihi stormed out when he doesn't even have the star power. He had 7 good games this season. The man is a walking injury.
Okay. I don't agree on the 7 good games thing, firstly.
Okay.
But
Sorry, it was 8.
Look, he was one of the, but before it went behind closed doors, he was one of the Dally M leaders, and then he continued to have good games after that. He was one of the in-form halves when he was on. And
he was in good form, for sure. He was definitely in origin contention. Not dismissing that.
And the Tigers were humming, with him at the helm there. Okay, fine. We can look at this situation and be like, Adam doesn't have the star power, and Benji, made the right call, or however we want to dress it up. What do you do now? You're in this situation where, if he doesn't have the star power, why is he back at halfback right now?
Well, I think Benji made the wrong call to begin with, so I'm not defending Benji's decision there. I think Adam Doueihi should have been playing halfback, and he's been their best halfback this season.
Okay,
correct. So it's a bad decision, but the response is disproportionate.
All right, but
it's like if someone shot someone in the States, let's say a terrorist came over to America, shot someone in the States, and then Trump decides to bomb the entire country. It's a disproportionate response.
I don't see it. I don't see it that way at all, because when I look at that, I think that.
So you're justifying the storm out?
I'm not. I think it's hard. It's difficult because I definitely agree that it's unprofessional.
Yeah,
you have a contract and you have a duty to your teammates.
Mm-hmm.
I understand that side of things, and if you look at the issue in isolation and that one moment and that one reaction to this one thing, disproportionate. Yes.
Okay. Great.
We've established that.
Yeah.
But the point that I'm making is that clearly this was a snowballing issue that's gotten steam over the probably years.
Yeah.
But definitely the course of this season, and it's now going to be a big problem moving forward. And he's not the first player to have this problem with Benji's coaching. And you can have coaches that create these problems with, Galvin, and then probably Luai, and definitely Adam, and who knows who else moving forward. That's 3 exceptional halves, by the way. How many times is someone going to create these situations whilst also not producing, results on the field? Benji orchestrated, rightfully, wrongfully, accidentally, or otherwise, it doesn't really matter, their lowest point of the season, and described by many as rock bottom for the organization in recent history, for zero payoff.
Yeah.
We're back to square one.
Because he's brought Doueihi back. I think...
And you've burnt Javon.
I think what you're trying to do is you're trying to... You've acknowledged that Doueihi did the wrong thing, but you think it's distracted from the scrutiny that should be coming on Benji.
I think that what I think is that Doueihi did the wrong thing in isolation.
Yeah.
And I think that Doueihi was, in my mind, I don't know his state of mind, but I imagine there was an element of fuck this. Someone needs to take a stand. I cannot put up with this mediocrity.
Yeah.
I cannot put up with this culture. I want better for myself. And by the way, a lot of people who have, this is what I find really interesting. You go to workplaces, you go to any job, and you talk to people who are in, people will tell you until the cows come home of frustrating workplace environments.
Yeah.
Where they have a go at their bosses, or they storm out, or they do this and that. And that's seen as taking back that power, and that's seen as...
Yes, but the problem is...
As taking a stand.
Yeah, I understand that, but this is a team. A team environment needs to be more important than the individual's desire to get his issues known. And he's already acknowledged, and this is where I'll give credit to Doueihi. He's come back out and said, I can be difficult to play with. I love this club. I should not. I should not have resisted playing. I should not have done that. So credit to Adam Doueihi for having the self-awareness, humility, and desire for unity and harmony with the team, that he's tried to repair the issues that he's created. So I do want to give him credit there. He's done the right thing, and good on him. And good on Benji for saying, like, I love Adam. Adam was right on some things. There's some standards that we've walked past. So I just don't know if that's the only way you need to do that. In fact, I don't think it is at all. And also, you don't have to storm out right that weekend. You can agitate to leave your contract. Different conversation.
Would it
do
have
it in a professional manner? We don't know. You can say, would it
Yeah, I
have
know.
happened?
There's a lot of
the hypotheticals.
Sure. But let's just, for a moment, let's just consider this like hypothetical. Is there a world in which what he did was a necessary evil to create a better situation that they're clearly in now, because it was so disruptive, it was so earth-shattering that it actually affected change?
It's possible to admit that, but that's the same as, like, is there a world where if he didn't do this, everything would have been much better? Like, of course, there's a hypothetical situation where he made this was the right decision and agitated the correct change.
Well, we're talking about an organization and a club here where, and Tigers fans will be the first to tell you this, that, mediocrity is in the walls.
Yeah, it's in the walls.
And it's like, if how many times are they just going to run back the same things, do the same things, have the same problems day in, day out, and no one do anything, and everyone just, stay within the guardrails and follow the rules every single time, and we'll just be shit for decades and decades and decades. And it's like one person was like, I've actually had enough of this. If you're not going to listen, you're not going to see reason, I'm actually walking out of here. And then, Benji's had a come to Jesus moment, clearly, because balance is restored, everyone's back, as it was. And by the way...
No, I don't think it's a come to Jesus moment. I actually think it's a leader trying to repair bridges. I don't think it's a hat in hand moment from Benji going, I got it totally wrong. Because actually the person who says I've got it wrong is Adam Doueihi. So Benji's more saying, there were some standards we walked past. He's obviously done some work, relationship management with Adam to get a resolution. I think it's great leadership. I don't think it's a come to Jesus moment.
Fine.
Yeah.
Okay. I think that the resolution was that we're back where we should have been from the beginning, and this is what I was asking from day one.
Who? Adam.
Adam.
Playing halfback.
Yes.
I don't think that was the actual issue, though. I think that was part of the issue. I think the bigger issue is that he thinks there's just been double standards.
Then the thing that just kills me as well with Benji, and I don't, you can disagree with this, but at the end of the day, he sat there and he told the playing group, if you're at the Tigers, you actually stand for something.
Yeah.
Now, harping on about values and throwing out, there's the door. I mean, there's the door has really just been like, pointing players in the direction of the emergency exit, it seems. And then when someone actually walks out the door, he points them back in the direction so they can walk straight back through it, back into the team. To me, it feels wish-washy. It feels like
it feels like there's been inconsistency.
Hugely.
And he's being judged, and this is perhaps why clubs regret giving backroom access, because you get that quote snippet where he says, "There's the door."
Yeah, I know.
And he will now have
double-edged
with that for
sword
the legacy of his career at the Tigers. So I do acknowledge that Benji has swayed or crumbled on the standards that he held and suggested at the start of the season, because there has clearly been a dysfunction that he's admitted we've walked past. And then you're right. The player he probably did not want to show the door was Adam Doueihi, who was probably upholding those standards. And so it's understandable that Adam's frustrated, because Benji was talking a big talk and hasn't delivered, but he's not the first coach that has been inconsistent.
Yeah.
So I'm not trying to make this a Benji apologetic. I think there's so much he's responsible for. 100%.
We won't really actually know anyway until the season ends and everything plays out properly. Right now, it's all everyone playing house. Wow.
But then sometimes, so here's where I get a little bit frustrated with Tigers fans, and not all of them, but I've had dozens of Tigers fans in my DMs and comments telling me that this is all Isaac Moses. This is the Isaac Moses orchestration to get what he wants, to get Adam out of a contract. So now Bulldog Richie wrote, I think it was Bulldog Richie, broke over the weekend that Adam said, I'm going to give 5 games to the end of the season and that's it. And then Adam's come back and said, no, I'm here for the duration of my contract term. And so the fans call out Bulldog going, you're just an idiot who's just making up shit. And that's that. It's all Isaac Moses doing all sorts of ducks and drakes. Well, I think the fans, therefore, that have said that need to take a step back now and go, well, hold on. If Isaac Moses was trying to agitate this and make this situation happen, why is Adam coming up and fronting up and admitting he got it wrong and saying I'm here for the duration of my contract? On top of that, it's been reliably told to me that Isaac Moses did not agree with the decision that Adam made. He said, stay there, because you got to think about a player agent. It's not just their welfare and helping them have a good time at the club they're at. I've got to sell this guy again. So if there is a situation where he's going to need to leave the club, if he's got the reputation of making the unprecedented move of disagreeing with the coach and bailing on the team, that makes him very hard to sell. So it actually does line up logically that Isaac Moses would have been suggesting to Adam, hey, stick at the club, we'll work this out. So people, and I hate defending Isaac Moses because I do think in many ways he's had a very negative impact on the game. But in this instance, this doesn't look like to be an Isaac Moses problem. It's much more, the much guiltier parties are Benji Marshall, Adam Doueihi, and the West Tigers leadership culture.
I can completely agree with you there.
The West Tigers, it's easy to blame Isaac Moses, but it just excuses the club's incompetence.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that's Benji as well. That's Adam as well. Everyone's got a part to play in this situation.
Definitely. And, even if Adam did want out, again, there's no guarantees. I mean, there's no guarantees at this.
That's what I'm trying to say, though. It's Adam's such a good player, but what club is he walking into? The Perth Bears? Congratulations, mate.
Nothing wrong with the Perth Bears. What are you trying to do?
That's a drive-by.
We're trying to get. Hold
on,
mate.
We've got to keep that spot for Wishart.
Yeah.
Okay? So who else is he going to?
Rabbitohs?
No.
He'd be great there. But
right now they've got Humphreys, Ward, and Walker. I actually don't think that's a bad shout. Yeah, okay.
But look,
Sure.
even if he does want out, all I see it right now is this. I'm going to get hate for this, but I'm just if one agent keeps successfully getting his clients out of one specific club, who's the common denominator?
Well, okay, so everyone's going to say it's Isaac Moses. But it's the freaking club.
Yes.
Guys, if you don't like dealing with Isaac Moses, stop signing his clients.
Yeah.
It's that simple. There are other clubs that already do this. I believe the Raiders have already declined to work with Isaac Moses anymore. There's other clubs out there that really don't like to work with him. If you don't like his impact and influence on his club, fans shouldn't be hammering Isaac Moses. They should be hammering the Tigers' leadership. Just stop using him when you're dealing with players that you want. There's plenty of players on the market. You don't have to work with Isaac Moses. The West Tigers leadership have agency here. They are not beholden and enslaved to Isaac Moses. Just don't work with his players.
I love when you spit facts. It's such a good start to Wednesdays. I think that it's not just, having Isaac Moses as the scapegoat. That's one thing. But then these disillusioned Tigers fans, they're also just wanting to blame the media as well.
So sometimes, again, this is where it's no one's, including myself, no one's got it fully right because there's so many angles you can take and there's so many things you can emphasize. But I know a lot of Tigers fans were just God, here we go. Yeah, go put up the Tigers in the media and just hammer and batter them, make up stories about the vaping, make up that he's going to leave his contract, make up all this kind of stuff. You guys are just rumor mongers, and that there wouldn't be as much stress and turmoil and tumult at the West Tigers if the media didn't exist. I just don't think that's true. There's been too many players who have agitated to leave. There's been too many blow-ups. There's been too much underperformance. The reason why the media hammers the West Tigers is because they've earned it. They've earned it through incompetence, through underperformance, through failed seasons, through lost players, through tumultuous dramas, through losing excellent coaches. It's the West Tigers' fault that they're in this position. Now, the future isn't bleak. Millicamp is, by all reports, a great administrator. Benji Marshall could end up being a great coach. There are some fantastic young talent at the West Tigers. And yes, the complaint of a Tigers fan why don't they report on that more? But the trust is broken. There's only one club that continues to redefine what the word rock bottom means, and it's the West Tigers. If you even look at the Dragons, who have been in a very similar, disgusting pile of shit. I went for more powerful, eloquent words, and I ended up with disgusting pile of shit.
It's the most
If you look at the Dragons, look at what their squad looks like next year. Yep. Look at what they've recruited. Look at the optimism and hope that fans have towards the Dragons next year. So the reason the West Tigers get hammered is because they deserve it.
Wow. Boom. Another good mic drop. That's a clip.
Thank you.
That's a clip.
Looking forward to getting absolutely slaughtered.
No, it had to be like no. I agree with you there. I'm glad we see eye to eye on it. It just feels like a coping mechanism right now. So there are a lot of rash. It's funny the Tigers fans that I meet in real life or that I know personally, completely rational. But then the ones on social media, something's going on there.
Yeah, that's so true. Every Tigers fan I've actually had a personal relationship with. They've been very reasonable. They're almost like immune to it. They're like, we're just dysfunctional. This is just who we are.
Can't hurt.
The Tigers fans online are people who never take a shower and say, stop saying I'm stinky. Hey, it's not our fault. You stink.
Buddy.
Take a shower. Clean the club up. Yeah.
Can I ask you, before we get on to other things, just with this, let's say...
I did shower today.
I was curious. I was curious. Do you think, because sometimes when I just like lob this at you in other contexts, you have like one like sweeping solution and I like it.
Yeah.
What are you doing if you are coming in, you've been parachuted into the club to just, you're trying to solve the cultural issues in this organization.
Yes.
You've been in leadership positions before yourself. How are you tackling this problem?
I've actually thought about this just a little
bit
about leadership. It rises and falls on leadership at West Tigers.
Mm-hmm.
So firstly, I would get an independent, respected figure who understands, like someone who has the leadership experience of someone like Phil Gould, right? Phil Gould's always the answer, but I'm saying like someone that's respected, credibility, runs on the board, comes in and analyzes the leadership structures. Not everything, just the leadership structures, and looks for two important things. Are leaders taking ownership of their area, and are departments and teams siloed from each other? So if they're operating as silos, there's no chance the team will ever be united. So firstly, that's the first, and then I go, who are the leaders that you need to elevate? So I do actually think Millikamp, he has had a great record as administrator. That's the right guy for the job. The person that's not getting enough attention, that needs to be absolutely put front and center at the club, is Api Coruscant. So Api Coruscant is the only player I can see who is leading by his actions in the right direction. I watched him against the Raiders make 4 tackles in one set, and they weren't like, oh, we're putting pressure on them, go Api again. It's like he's running and sprinting back to make the next tackle. There's only one player who's giving 100% effort 100% of the time, and that's Api Coruscant. So I think you've got to find the right leader. Make it about him and control the narrative. Get Api in front. I know he's not a great dominant public speaker, but sometimes leadership isn't about your oration skills. It's about your ability to influence and demonstrate the right culture. So nail down who your best leaders are, and then put everyone else under the microscope. Can Benji Marshall be a great leader? Most likely. But what's going on with Pat Richards as the football GM? Is there any analysis there that needs to go on? What's going on in recruitment? Who are leading all the other teams? Are they siloed from each other? Because if they're siloed from each other, no wonder leaks are happening, because you're not on a united front about what the message of the club is. So my thought would be do a full audit of leadership positions, not a board audit. I know there's been bullshit there. Look at everyone, and is this a harmonized, united team? Is this a team that has robust ideological conflict that leads to healthy change? Or is it a club that has corridor conversations where we bitch and whinge about each other outside of the situation? So for me, independent investigation on leadership positions, what structures need to be put in place to facilitate a united team with every leader in that position. I'm really ranting now. Every leader in that position needs to be a bona fide, demonstrated, credible leader, not a bitch.
Wow. First of all, right here, we're going to put a picture of you in Tigers gear. That's going to be up on the screen. And we're going to clip this and we send it to the board. And they play it.
Don't you understand? I know everything. Don't you understand? I'm a genius. Yeah, right?
No, you're already partway there as well.
Look, that might be going on. Millikamp might be doing that. And I feel like I did a big drive-by on Pat Richards. I'm not trying to say anyone is an incompetent leader. I'm just saying there is incompetent leadership in there. Otherwise, these issues wouldn't be happening. One last one, which is completely irrelevant, but just another strange thing that happens at the West Tigers. Someone who I very much respect for their junior footy knowledge around all the regions mentioned to me that he finds it really weird that the West Tigers junior development pathways in juniors is still split between the Magpies and the Tigers. So there's not even a united, aligned pathway from the juniors. Now, they'll say that there's a pathway and structure that comes into place at some point, but why isn't just the West Tigers juniors? And I'm sure there's weird, random political reasons why, but that just is another thing that seems strange to me. I reckon you'd be able to find so many strange things that happen at the Tigers, including a cheeky vape.
What a clip. Oh, my goodness. Okay. All right. Let's get on to non-Tigers related footy.
Yes. Hey, you can't say that sometimes we hammer Manly and talk about Manly ad nauseam.
No.
We did a big Tigers.
And it was needed. People need to be. People need the full Tigers experience after everything that's gone down. That was great. I want to know now. Talking about another. It's funny, like when we're talking about clubs that have gone like from great to mediocre or bad.
Yeah.
And Bulldogs have kind of inversed that this season.
Yep.
To a certain extent. Alive, but definitely on life support at sitting ninth on the ladder. 2 points outside the 8. I got to check that. With a pretty poor points differential. Like, look, their game against the Tigers, it's kind of like, it's hard to.
It doesn't count.
It's hard to put any sort of value in that. But then what you saw against the Warriors was incredible. It was
oh my god, amazing game.
Just unbelievable. Kickout's like absolutely wrecking the left edge.
Yeah, Kickout.
He needed to be back in the side. The problem is the run home is pretty brutal. Sort of stacked with finals contenders, I believe, and then the differential means that they pretty much need to win most of them, or if not all.
So I just had a quick check of the ladder. So they are 1 win out of the 8, but the 2 teams above them have a bye in hand, and so then they are only 1 win away from South. So so it is still very crammed down there, but it does make it completely possible. But yeah, we were talking about their run. I think it includes some important teams like Souths that they've got to beat. The Broncos is at the end of the season. I think that'll be a game that they will be able to win. So it's going to really end up. What can they do in these next 4 or 5 games? Firstly, who the hell was that played against the Warriors? Oh, my God. They had something like 9 line breaks and 19 offloads or something.
It was beautiful.
When was the last time the Canterbury Bulldogs had that many offloads? That has not been their attacking style this season. Someone had a theory like, Serraldo knows how to beat the Panthers and the Warriors because he's familiar with their defensive structures. Well, why don't you just use that game plan? Every week. Because, Kickout was possessed.
Yes.
They were just dominant in every area, man. They were hungry. It was like they knew that they had they'd taken a bite. There were sharks who would sniff blood with the Warriors. They clearly got the upper hand again, like they did against the Tigers.
Yep.
Having that upper hand meant, geez, we're going to just devour them now. And they did it. It was an unbelievable performance. So I'm getting a lot of Dogs fans now coming at me because I've criticized the Dogs so much, rightfully. But I'll fully put my hand up and say that was an amazing game. They're playing really well, and they deserve their plaudits this week. And I think if they play like that, they were easily in the 8. That's not even a question. If they play like that each week, even 80% of that effort, they're in the 8.
They are the form and belief pick for sure. The maths is probably a little bit against them. It's the wrong time to sort of start to have dug themselves out of a hole.
Yeah.
But I am interested in. I love that game. It was one of the best when I was watching them play. Just in isolation, in this 80-minute period, I'm thinking, man, this is one of the better performances I've seen from a team this season.
I know, it was amazing.
Just pound for pound, and then it kind of brought me back to there was a lot of chatter before the game around. Oh my God, I can't believe Critter's back, and the first decision they've made is to put him in at 6.
Yeah.
But
no, see, here's where people get too.
Because we are both
and people
guys.
get too recency bias or n=1, like it happened this week, which means Sean O'Sullivan shouldn't be the halfback anymore.
Yep.
Hey, one good game doesn't override or prove anything. It proves that you played really good in that game. But are we saying that the reason that they played so well is because Lockie Galvin was playing 7?
No,
I don't think so. I think people like Kikau and Crichton.
Crichton at 6 looked
really
delicious.
Good. Yeah, he looked great. So I still think he's the best centre in the game, though, or one of the best centres in the game. So wouldn't you want to put your best centre in the game at centre? I don't think he'll ever end up being the best number 6 in the game. I know that that's their theory. I just don't see it. I could be wrong. But in any case, I still think the problem is like the Bulldogs were on top against the Warriors.
Yeah.
They just had all the momentum. You don't always have that luxury in a game. So then you need a game management 7 to help you relieve some pressure, to just grind out some field position and some momentum so that you can get back into the game so that you're not behind by 20 and you've not created anything. So that's where I still think the argument of a game, you didn't need a game manager there. I know Crichton played really well. You didn't need it. Your forwards were on fire. You were winning the ruck. Your line speed was lethal. You're not going to get that opportunity every game.
So do you think that the plan now moving forward is they're just going to keep everything intact though?
Of course, they're very stubborn though, aren't they? Serraldo's very stubborn.
Incredibly.
Like he was even asked about the 7 and 6 thing, and he's getting dismissive and curt now about those questions.
That.
I do too.
It's so annoying.
Oh, people are idiots for thinking that we should ask about this.
Yeah, it's
no, man.
You haven't gone undefeated, mate.
You're still outside of the 8. There's a lot of chirping.
Yeah,
a lot of chirping, not from Serraldo, but just a lot of chirping from Bulldogs fans.
Yeah.
For a team that's going to need to have a freaking great run to make the 8. So, look, I'd rather be there in their position than a Manly fan position. Yep. But that's one win does not heal all wounds.
How do you feel? I mean, I agree with you there. I was loving what I was seeing from the Bulldogs. How do you feel about the Raiders, who are in a similar position?
I do love the Raiders more because the Raiders have always had the more chaotic kind of footy.
Yep, love that footy.
It's never truly been about their spine decision. Although I will say there's so much evidence to point towards switching Strange back to the left has been a godsend. There's been talk about how it's also unlocked Kyle Weeks because he's a right side player. I don't know the X's of O's of that, but somehow that just works better for him. Having Sanders on the right. On the right helps Kyle Weeks out. Sanders is also playing amazing. Like, full credit to Ricky for backing a young spine. The player I'm most impressed with in that spine, though, is actually Owen Paddy. So Owen Paddy comes with a lot of hype. And Raiders fans are like, yes, we're going to start with Owen Paddy. This is going to go really well. But I was very reluctant because I watched Owen Paddy last season and I saw a player full of promise who made a lot of dumb errors. So holding him back a little bit to start the season means he's come in flying. He's got rid of that ill discipline from his game. I think he was carrying the pressure and hype of being such a good player. Now he looks more like the actual Harry Grant 2.0 compared to a guy who's trying to live up to people's expectations. He's been on fire. So the Raiders look fantastic. They're on 4 in a row, by the way.
Yeah.
So I know they also have a difficult run, but they know how to score points now. And their middles are back. They're playing with discipline. There's a lot more encouraging signs at the Raiders than the Bulldogs. That's not to say the Bulldogs aren't looking good, but the Raiders generally look amazing, man.
Wow, this has got to be the first episode where just about everything you said, I've pretty much agreed with. Wow. Yes, it's. I think they've got the help.
You did hammer Benji.
Yeah. Outside of that, we'll set that aside. But Raiders are peaking. With momentum, with a healthier profile.
Yeah.
It's just, if there's a team that's a genuine bolter, it's definitely that. They're my pick. I can't put too much weight on. I mean, Ethan Sanders, he had 4 try assists, and Sasangi's got 5 try involvements and all this. I can't really put too much weight in what a team does against.
No, not
Tigers.
against the this week Tigers, but. No. The other issue they're going to have is Hudson Young's out for the season.
Yes.
Noah Martin is carrying a niggle, and that's the 2 of the best second rowers in the comp.
Yeah.
Matty Nicholson coming in is not a bad replacement, though.
Yes.
So they could still do it. They've still got their middles. I think Ricky really thinks that the reason that they're doing so well is that they've got their middles back.
And between the 2 teams, Raiders and Bulldogs, we're both thinking
Raiders. Yeah.
Perfect. Before we start to wrap up, I did want to talk a little bit about so Ben Hunt. He's re-signed.
Yes, he's extended on a cut rate deal. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. What was your initial reaction? There's been a lot of...
Yeah, I think... Well, it's Ben... Here's what I will say. It's Ben Hunt's right if he's got that option in his contract to take up that option. Mm-hmm. And the Broncos negotiated that deal to get him across, and that did help for their premiership tilt. So if you analyse the situation, it was a worthy investment from the Broncos.
Mm-hmm.
Where there's a narrative I'm struggling with, which is like Corey Parker said, hey, Ben, protect your legacy, retire.
Yeah.
And I guarantee it's coming from right intentions. I hate when people call for players to retire. It's a limited career.
Yeah.
They may never make as much money as they are now. It's their choice. The club signed the deal. Like, why does this player have to, why does he have to give it up? The club made the decision.
Yeah.
It might be aging, but they knew that going into the contract. They made this choice to sign Ben Hunt, and it's the same for the narrative. I think I've only seen the clip. It might not have actually been Anasta asking for it. It might be just someone on 360. But that DCE should retire as well, not take up his second option. Yeah. What are we talking about? They're stalwarts of the game. Don't you aren't you afforded to finish your career as you want? Now, on that, Ben Hunt's playing terribly. He's really,
Oh my
it's
gosh.
disgusting. It's actually
Yeah.
crazy. I actually can't fathom how bad he's playing.
Yeah.
So drop him, but don't make him retire. They're two very different things.
Yeah. I mean, this is complete. I mean, we talked a little bit about this last week when we were talking about Turbo.
Yeah.
This is a different situation, though.
Yeah,
It's
true.
not. This is not a player that is like. And I'm not saying. Sorry, I need to clarify.
Yeah.
Tom's not doing this.
No.
I'm talking perception
Yeah.
only.
Mhm.
This is not a situation of a player rinsing a club for all its money when it's
Yeah.
heavily depleted in other areas and could use that money and it's better spent
Yeah.
and you're not playing and blah blah blah. That's not the Ben Hunt situation.
Or DCE.
No,
Yeah.
I think Corey Parker was. I mean, yeah, he thinks that the sort of premiership winning career deserves a full stop.
Mhm.
But I don't think it's like this is not the same situation at all. You've got a guy that is it's reasonable money. It's a market rate fair deal,
Yeah.
and it's an agreement between two parties. I don't understand this obsession.
I can't remember the figure I saw. It actually looks like a steal. Like he's on really low money.
Yes, yeah,
It may even be as low as like 350.
I think that's. I didn't want to say it, but I
Yeah.
feel like it was 350.
And DCE is on like something around 600. But dude, he just won them the game against the Knights. So DCE
Yeah.
is underperforming or not. Like he's not really. It's just the DCE he's always been. It's just now that he's at the Roosters, people care. So like he's not a great defender. He is a bit manic sometimes. But when it's 22 all and the scores are tied on a game, you should absolutely be winning because the Knights have been absolutely depleted, and you just need someone to ice it. Didn't go to the Queensland halfback. It goes to DCE.
And and what are we even talking about here? Like the Roosters are second.
And they're also second. Why are
Yeah.
we trying to disrupt a winning formula?
It's so ridiculous. And this idea that like Sam Walker's being like in him. If you were to ask Sam Walker if he feels like playing alongside DCE
Yeah.
is restricting his career progression, who by the way, he's talking about signing a 10-year deal.
Yeah.
He's got his whole career in front of him. He's learning from one of the greatest to ever do it, who's still icing games to this day. And by the way, as Manly fans, when I watch our games, I think I wish we fucking had a 38-year-old DCE
Yeah,
right now.
only-
We'd have won 4 more games.
Only in the last 10 minutes do I wish that, because but in the last 10 minutes of close games, I wish we had DCE back as a Manly fan. The other thing is, I also don't think Walker's a game manager either. So people are saying like,
Yeah.
oh, he needs to be the general. He does
doesn't.
play more like this chaos merchant 6 blended 7 role. So I actually think the future play has got to be Savala at 7.
Yeah.
I think that would be the best case
I
scenario. I think he's unbelievable. He's the perfect
When are you gonna stop
boring
spitting
game
facts?
manager. Let Walker do all the crazy shit. Savala's a unique build, so he's got a great running style, great defense. He's playing out in the centers right now and doing a stand-up job.
Yeah.
And he's got an excellent kicking game.
Yes.
Like his long kicking game is phenomenal. So the Roosters have it sorted.
Yeah.
DCE will play one more season. You can have Savala in the centres and playing in this utility role, and he's learning from DCE, and then he slots in, and they become an even more formidable force.
Yeah.
So why does DCE need to kick on at all?
Yeah. No. It's so funny now, and I don't want to rub salt in the wound for some fans, but how ridiculous now when we've seen everything that's played out and how everything's going right now.
Yeah.
Sam Walker as the Kangaroos halfback.
I know. I
Look,
know. Yeah.
The fall from
I-
grace.
Yeah. I know. Do you know? I know. You said salt in the wound. I had a guy. He just misses up all sorts of idioms, and he calls it salt in the womb. He thought it was salt in the womb. Anyway.
I just
God, I know.
I just started. I just got a mental image of like when you put salt on like a slug or a snail.
Yeah, I was going to say you're giving birth to a sardine. I was like, anchovy. Sorry.
Oh, that's terrible. That's a terrible thing to end on. The foaming. Oh, goodness.
Yuck! End this.
Okay. All right. Look, I think we've covered everything that we can comfortably cover for that, unless we've missed anything. I don't think we have. Thank you for everyone that tuned in last week, by the way. Record-breaking episode.
Oh, yes.
for us.
Amazing, right? We hit over 300,000 views.
Incredible.
Far out.
80,000 of you tuning in. Really appreciate it. We've got, bigger and better things planned.
Very exciting.
And we want to just thank everyone for, taking the time to give two battlers a chance.
Indeed.
Um,
Particularly me, the true battler.
Well,
You're very well.
you're the superstar, right? You're the talent. The
That's
talent.
right. It's just me on here. I have lobbied that we do.
No,
change to a photo
no.
of me.
All attention to you. Don't worry about it. But we will get on to the Bet365 odds.
Let's do it.
In 2 seconds flat. So we're going to get into all things odds with Bet365 now. We've just talked about the Bulldogs and the Raiders as two teams that are, top 8 potentials. They're both gunning for that right now.
Absolutely.
It's really funny. We kind of feel like the Bulldogs are in a bit of a tough position, and their run home is probably a little bit more difficult. But they're looking at a $4 odds to make the top 8.
Mm-hmm.
But then our personal favorites between the two, the Raiders, they're $7 to make the top 8.
Yeah, I wonder if because the Raiders haven't played Penrith yet, that's impacting their odds there. But man, I'm feeling like Raiders have a real crack. They're 4 in a row.
Yep, and they're only trailing by 1 loss to the Bulldogs with a better for and against. It feels like $7 is incredible value if we're pricing Bulldogs at 4.
Yeah.
I'm probably going to throw that. I mean, we're going to have to circle back to this one, but we're going to sprinkle that in the mix. I think if you're buying into the Raiders' hype.
I just think Raiders. I am buying into their hype.
Yeah, me
I'm
too.
buying into their middles. I'm buying into their spine. I'm buying into Sanders. There's a lot to love.
We're going to jump on that one. But getting into some of the more specific matchups, I know we've got the Bulldogs versus Melbourne as well.
Yes.
This round. We're actually thinking Bulldogs to win, Jacob Preston anytime try scorer.
Yeah, we've got to get that Jacob Preston going.
Preston, $3.60.
Yep, mate. If there's nothing the Bulldogs love more than it's Lockie Galvin short ball to Preston. So, and it's effective. It's just predictable. Yeah,
I've got 2 more for you. One I think is going to absolutely shock the shit out of you.
Okay.
So right now,
I look forward to this one.
So firstly, Dolphins.
Yeah.
They're playing this round. They're going up against the Dragons.
Yes.
I just feel like it feels to me like it's a foregone conclusion. Dolphins to win, and then when I look at that Val Holmes Sloan combo against Herbie, who missed out last week, and Cobbo, I kind of feel like
both scoring.
Pretty much.
Yeah. And Katoa's back too?
Katoa is not back,
He's not
unfortunately.
back. Okay. Yeah. Sorry.
I thought he was.
Yeah.
That was my mistake.
Okay.
I kind of clued you up incorrectly. Fed you false information. Regardless of that.
Yeah, I mean, Sloan and Holmes has not been the tightest defensive unit, has it?
I think that's probably 11 missed tackles between the two of them.
Herbie's a bully.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The tackle break king I'm looking at right now on Bet365, $4.25.
Nice.
For those to each score and Dolphins to win.
Yeah.
Feel like that's relatively juicy. And then the last one, this one's crazy. So Broncos Knights are playing.
Yes.
The Broncos.
Okay, before we get into this one, did we review how spot on our bet on was the Knights last week?
We didn't actually.
Yeah.
So we had we actually had a really, really good one. We had the Roosters to win against the Knights, but then Bradman Best to score.
Yeah.
For a juicy $7 boosted on Bet365.
Yeah.
A great dub for us.
Yeah.
We got.
I think I'm really good at picking night stuff, by the way. That's my little flex. Okay.
Well, we should continue this trend because we've got the Knights versus the Broncos. And the last time that we had odds like these for a team going against the Knights, we took the Knights and it pretty much paid off. But the Knights are a $2.61.
The Knights against the Broncos.
And the Broncos are $1.48.
What?
On Bet365.
The Knights have so much to play for.
I know.
And the Broncos have nothing to play for.
Yeah. Nothing to play for. And they're also,
Oh my God. $2.60.
Yeah. $2.60. So even if you wanted to throw a little bit of safety in there.
Yeah.
You could.
What's the line?
Well, I think we take head to head for a sprinkle. And I actually think we go for safety. Knights, their line, which is plus 6.5.
Yep.
So you get one converted try for separation, and you throw who would you try score a pick bet?
Okay, so I'm going left edge again. I just think it's like, especially if you've got Brown out and I know Lucas is out, you're going to have Ponga making that sweeping play from their own half.
Who's back, by the way?
Who's back? So this is like also just on the Knights, like Ponga has carried them to finals many times before. So I don't think we should write them off just because they've got a couple of injuries. So I'm seeing a Ponga line break or a line break assist for Bradman Best, and then a Marju in the corner, something like that, or Marju cut back in because Bradman's run the line. I just see it happening, man. It's like clockwork for them. It's one of their favorite plays.
Well, as the Knights whisperer, I'm going to take that advice from you.
Yeah.
If you throw Marju into a Knights plus 6.5, you got another $3.60.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty juicy.
Yeah, man.
And I think, getting a little bite of the cherry at 261 head to head.
Very nice.
Not too bad.
Yeah, man.
We'll see how those play out for us.
And it'll be good proof. Am I the Knights whisperer?
This will be, if you get this right, I'm going to tail every single Knights bet you have from here on out, and I'll also never hear the end of it.
Yeah, that's true.
We'll see how
I haven't flexed that much about my unbelievable pick last week. Yeah,
mate. Start throwing some money down on the table, okay? Let's see how it plays out when there's a little bit at stake. But I'm with you on these. I think these are all good bets. We will check back in next week and see how we fared.
Yeah. Thanks so much, guys. Thanks for listening. If you can do what the algorithm loves, that would be brilliant. Like, share, subscribe, follow, whatever platform you're on. Like Al said, we're just blown away with the reception we've got, with the hundreds of thousands of views from you guys. So thank you, and we will see you next week.
You win some, you lose more. For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website